this transcript. It was a Spanish interview that I was able to translate to English so we could all enjoy it. So sorry. Every time I come on here, my voice has issues. Before that, everything's fine. And as soon as I start these live stream, my voice like dries up, and this maybe spiritual attacks, but pray for my throat. All right, let's read this powerful testimony, and then I'll share some of my thoughts on it, and you can share your thoughts as well. 1 second. Okay, that should be better. So this testimony starts off with yesterday. In the first part, the sister talked about how she went through so many traumatic events. You know, there was all these men who unfortunately did things to her when she was younger that can't mention too much detail, but you can imagine what they are. Serious crimes against her that they could have gone to jail. And it was man after man after man that kept on coming and doing the same thing to her when she was still very young. And so she finished off mentioning how one man did that to her, and the host of the channel, Brother Jonathan, asked her if maybe she was wearing anything provocative that maybe caused that man to do that, and she says no, she was dressing modestly, but it was those demons that were using those men, using the bodies of those men to hurt her, to push her into a territory where those demons wanted her to go into, and to fill her with hatred. Because the more hatred and anger and resentment that she had, the easier it would be for her to go eventually into the dark side, to eventually start practicing witchcraft, to get revenge and to have power so this would not happen to her again. And that is what happened. So let's keep going. She says here, she says, so after that happened, after that man, took advantage of me, then I met a taxi driver that night outside of the house. And this man told me that he knew my aunt. He actually said he met me when I was a little girl. So I trusted him. And he said he could bring me to my aunt's house in this new town. But he ended up taking me to another area, into a hotel. And there he gave me this white powder. I didn't know what it was, that it was, illegal substances, but he put the powder in some water and he told me to drink it. I refused, so he punched me in the stomach, and then I had to drink it. And as soon as I did, I felt my head becoming larger and larger and larger. And I found a bell. And then I woke up. I woke up from the dream, and I told my grandmother everything that I saw. So she told me to go to that area that I saw in my dream. And when I got there, I saw everything exactly the way it was in my dream. But I also saw a book that is called the Livre Cognet. This book is not like any other books. Not many people are able to read this book, because reading this book can make you go insane. It can even cause you to lose your life, because this is a satanic book. It is diabolical. It can give you the power to shapeshift into anything, to transform into anything with satanic prayers. That is where these people find their satanic prayers. After I gathered up all the things that I found in that place, I went to see that father. And the demon who helped me find these things, he is the boss of the altar. Every demon orders a principality. When a principality chooses you to work with you, that demon can have up to 70 generations of demons, and all of those demons will enter. Remember how Jesus asked the demonized man in Gadara, "What is your name?" And the demonized man said, "Legion, because we are many." Well, those things, they come through generations, from generation to generation. Although there are some warlocks who were not born into this, there are some warlocks who are basically thieves. They're just scamming people for money, but they have no powers. But now there are some generational Satanists and witches who were born into this, those who were chosen and called from these generational families. And there are some people who will buy a demon. They will purchase a demon so the demon can help them practice magic and make money. Everything is done in order to make money. So back to my story. What happened? After they finished baptizing me in the satanic ceremony, I returned to the city of Higüey, and I rent a house, and I begin to practice witchcraft, and I become famous in that area. People would say to my mother, Kika, they tell me that Marsha is practicing witchcraft, and they would want me to work with them. But my mother would say, I know that my daughter is still a daughter of God and that He has a big purpose for her. That is what my mother would say, even though she was not a Christian yet. And I began to do witchcraft jobs for people. All kinds of people would hire me. Some wanted me to do love spells to make men fall in love with them. Others to have good luck. Others for their jobs. I was hired by people who worked in the military. I was hired by police officers who all wanted to be raised up in their ranks and promotions. And there was a warlock who was teaching me. In the spiritual world, it is like our world. You know, there's different positions, and there's also deacons in the spiritual world. And they teach you, they guide you, and they help you to rise up in different spiritual levels so that you don't make any errors. And it was a high-ranking warlock that helped me. At one point, he told me that I had to go to the cemetery so I could summon El Varón del Cementerio, which is the man from the cemetery. Okay, and that's all I was able to do for today. So I'll end it there, and I'll try to make an even longer one for tomorrow. I'm going to spend most of today transiting as much so we can just get through this testimony quickly and not have 5 or 6 parts.